Prophecy. World leaders imposing digital currencies and digital IDs worldwide. Unbelievers blind to the gospel. I want to give all the honor, glory, and praises to YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, BAHASHAM, RAWACHAA, QADASH. Double honors to my elders at Great Millstone, taught me the truth of the Spirit. Single honors to the elect. Peace and blessings be to all the sensitive men, women, and children. The do consist of the 1/3. And to the confusion faces in the four corners of the earth, Shalom. Getting right into it. From end time headlines, Prophecy Watch. G20 announces plan to impose digital currencies and IDs worldwide. The group of 20 leaders have agreed to a plan to eventually impose digital currencies and digital IDs on their respective populations. Despite fears that governments will use them to monitor their people's spending and crush dissent. Well, when you go to Revelation 13 chapter, it says you can't buy or sell save he that had the charagma. So that's monitoring everything you do. They're already doing it. It's called gradualism. That's why they say cash is king. But they're getting rid of the digital currency. I'm sorry, they're getting rid of the fiat currencies because they can't track it. You know, like one of my favorite movies. I mean, scenes from a movie, I would say. It's the Bad Boys, and they Bad Boys 2. When you had the one Colombian dude that Halle Berry was married to, that's now gonna be divorcing her, or I think he divorced. When he had all those rats that was eating all his money, and he kept shooting at the rats and just shooting at the money. They had so much freaking money there. Like the cartel have so much money stashed in walls and dug up dirt and put it in the ground or whatever. But if they get rid of currency, the physical currency, and then you have to use digital, right hand or forehead, they can track everything you do. So they're doing it with debit card, credit card, Apple Pay, CashApp, Venmo. They're doing it. The convenience that they provide you, what you relinquishes is your privacy. Right? Oh, someone can steal your money and you can't trace it or track it. Why not use a credit card or a debit card? If someone steals that, you can suspend your account or you can cancel that card and get another one shipped to you. That quick, right? Just as quick as you can do all of that, it's just as quick as they can freeze your accounts. It's no different than when you hear people when they have to go to court cases, and you hear they say they froze all his assets, they took his passport, yada yada. Yeah, they got that kind of power, right? These are the same people who are like 1% of the world population that control 99% of his wealth. We're not ignorant of Satan's devices, right? So anyhow, 2 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 3 through 4. But if our gospel be hid to them that are lost, in whom the God of this world hath blinded the minds of them which believe not, lest the light of the glorious gospel of Mashiach, which is the image of God, should shine unto them. Now it says, but if our gospel be hid, but you're going to say the word gospel means good news. What's the good news? We're still in captivity, regardless of how you look at society or the world. And the Lord's going to bring us out of this captivity into everlasting kindness, comfort, and bliss, and all righteousness, and peace and harmony. Because the Lord did with a balance. So if the gospel literally means good news, then who's bad news for? You heathen nations and you 2/3. Those 2/3 about people who will rule in the kingdom, they're going to go through a gruesome death on this side. And those are the circumcision, those who know better, know that this is a major prophecy. It's called also the hour of temptation, when the Lord shall try the world. You see how people folded and relinquished their privacy and their rights when the CD19 broke out, when that Miley Cyrus broke out, when they had everybody taking that Beetlejuice. Then they started dropping like fly. But let me leave it on. But it goes to show you that you're more than willing to allow an entity to put a foreign substance. I'm just saying you don't know what's in it and inside of you based upon an enemy you can't see. Think about that. Like Russiagate. Oh, Russia, they're altering the votes. How can you tell? They don't even count most of the votes. You get what I'm saying? Remember anthrax? Remember SARS? Remember swine flu? Are you not understanding the pattern? But once again, the Lord blinded the minds of those who don't believe. So you gotta let that sink in. There have always been believers and unbelievers. That's who the Bible was written for, the believers. Malachi 3:16 is such a very influential precept to understand who the Bible was written for. The Bible is also referred to as the book of remembrance. To be the lost sheep of the house of Israel, to be a lost people on the face of the earth, so-called Negro, Latinos, and Native Americans. Who the hell you think, I speak as a man, the book of remembrance was written for? Us. We're the lost people on the face of the earth. Now we're found. Remember what the Lord said, thou even thyself shalt discontinue from thine heritage. It shows you that in roots. Your name is no longer Kunta, it's now Toby. But we've come back to our power. And what's the greatest power? What's the greatest career? What's the greatest position? The greatest job title on the face of the earth? Prophet. Prophet. Why? Because the Lord God doeth nothing but he revealeth his secrets to his servants, the prophets. So if you're a prophet, what must you do? Prophesy. Prophesy goes into prophecy. Elder Pastor Hart did a video, I think was it yesterday or the day before yesterday, about Bishop Nathaniel referring to America as being the lake of fire and everything like that. Listen here. I'm just a man like Bishop Nathaniel and my Elder Pastor Hart, but I understand the levels of the spirit and the frequency. I always heard Elder Pastor Hart saying that he, want Nate to repent or the Lord going to destroy him. Now he's trying to come around. But it also goes back to biblical prophecy where Nate had a dream about, I think the oil was taken from him or something. The elder brought it up before. It's so spiritual. You understand what I'm saying? But we're getting down to the wire. There's no excuse anymore. Sirach or Ecclesiasticus in the Apocrypha, chapter 39, verse 24. As his ways are plain unto the holy. Holy means to be separate, meaning not a part of this world. So are they stumbling blocks unto the wicked. So you're stumbling over this because the wicked can't understand righteousness. Because they abhor it. Going back to the devil, the liar, the slanderer. You are your father, the devil. He was a liar. He was a murderer from the beginning. The truth abided not in him. They abhor the truth. The same way swine would abhor soap. Because as soon as you wash goddamn pigs, what they do? Take their funky asses right back. Forgive me, y'all. Take their funky butts right back to the mud and wallow in it. Yeah? So, going back to the article, the G20, which is currently under India's presidency, adopted a final declaration on the subject over the weekend in New Delhi. The meeting, which included the world's leading economies, announced last week that they had agreed to build the necessary infrastructure to implement digital currencies and IDs. The G20 summit consists of all the top leaders of the world. Listen, y'all. Man, the water about my shot for the YAHAWAH QADASH. G20 summit. Do you know what a summit is? You may not. A summit is the peak, the top of a mountain. I.e., the Lord speaks in parabolic talk in the scriptures and refers to governments as what? Mountains and hills. Hills are smaller governments. Mountains are larger governments like United States, Russia, China, India. Those will be the mountains. The hills would be like Pakistan, Iraq, Libya, stuff like that. So anyhow, Matthew 13 and 16 through 17. But blessed are your eyes, for they see, and your ears, for they hear. For verily I say unto you, that many prophets and righteous men have desired to see those things which ye see, and have not seen them, and to hear those things which ye hear, and have not heard them. Now, man, to even read this passage, God, it would touch you if you would know about reincarnation, because we were those same mighty men back then that was inquiring, like, what's gonna happen? What's gonna happen? They had no clue what they were. They saw the vision. They had to just write it down. The Lord told them through the Spirit, here, write this down. This is what you see. Write it down. And they can only interpret it based upon things they saw then, right? So, looking at it now, blessed are our eyes, because the visions that we saw back then spiritually, we're physically seeing it now, and it's correlating with the word, which goes back to that spirit, which the spirit of truth, which the world cannot receive. That goes, I'm getting excited. They go back to YAHAWASHI. We said, I will be with you to the end of the world. How? Through the RAWACHAA QADASH. He said, I go unto my Father who is greater than me. YAHAWASHI had to go so that we could inherit the RAWACHAA QADASH. Going back to Acts, the 1st and 2nd chapter. What happened after he left? It was in the 1st chapter of Acts. Spirit heavy. Remember when YAHAWASHI left in the whirlwind, and there was 2 men arrayed in white apparel? And they were like, why are you gazing up into the heavens when the sky is that way? The same way he left, the same way he shall return. That's heavy itself. But I'm just excited right now. But think about that though. What happened in the next chapter? Chapter 2 of Acts, the book of Acts. What happened with the wind, the gust of wind entered into the room, entered into the building, the house, the shack, or whatever they was at, right? The hut. Remember what YAHAWASHI said in John 3 and 3? Was John the 3rd chapter. It clearly said the spirit is like the wind. So the spirit is with us right now. We're blessed to see these things right now. Because the spirit of truth revealed those things that the prophets back then, who are us today, wanted to see. And we're here to confess it to the world. These are the secrets of the Lord. But those who don't believe, the Lord blinded you because you didn't believe back then. That's the beautiful thing of faith. Even when we were going to discontinue from our heritage, the Lord still enlightened us. That's love. That's love. And that's heavy. So I'm going to close out. Matthew chapter 24, verse 14. And this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations, and then shall the end come. So Bishop Nathaniel, I think Elder Pastor Hart said you somewhere over in Africa or whatever. We don't have to travel the world. The gospel already been preached throughout the whole world. Psalms the 19th, chapter. The 19th Psalm indicates the line that goes throughout the earth. Right? In the speeches in different languages. Because we've been scattered to the 4 corners of the earth. You don't have to go nowhere. Because we all over. And in addition, the prophets are all over. Notice the elders didn't have to leave the United States, a.k.a. Babylon the Great, to go get brothers to join the fold who are members of the body, already predestined. They didn't have to go to GMS Hawaii, right? They didn't have to go to GMS Down Under in Australia. They didn't have to go to GMS Germany. When the brothers not only speak Deutsch, they also do sign language. Beautiful blessing, right? They didn't have to go to London, the UK, yeah? They didn't have to go there. They didn't have to go to the Philippines to wake up that one brother. right? I've even seen a cab with the name YAHAWAH on it. Y'all need to stop. You need to stop. Wake up. Man, save these people through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shema Shah by telling them what to happen. The wicked gonna die in their own wickedness. But when you telling them, you save yourself as well. And your household. So anyhow, with that being said, I pray you was edified and fed. Stay in the spirit, don't fear it, just endure it. Ask for forgiveness, pray without ceasing, stay humble, remain diligent, Kwame Allah, Bawafla Babal, Shalom.